The Big Four used to be a default choice, but कुछ तो बदला है.
Post-COVID, there was a spike in the application of students in the countries like UK, US, Australia, and everybody wanted to go in these destinations. There was a decrease in the supply and demand scenario. Eventually, institutions were overloaded with the applications. So they had less resources, less amount of time, and so many students to cater to. So that's where rejection of applications started as well. Cities like Toronto, Sydney, Birmingham, London, you check the rent over there, it's gonna burn a hole in your pocket.
Which countries are or which destinations are rising very fast?
Germany, Netherlands, Ireland, and UAE.
And वो क्या ऐसा ऑफर कर रहे हैं जो the Big Four aren't?
The job market is very solid because you get access to the Schengen countries, affordable tuition fees, study, and a structured visa process.
What about the universities?
They are very focused on the demographic of the student. That they are making flexible payment methods, visa support system, less English requirement. आप अपने parents से guidance लेते हो, आप अपने relatives से guidance लेते हो. Why not take it from an expert? Come to MetaApply, get the proper guidance, get the proper shortlisting, get all the support that is required in your study abroad journey, and we won't disappoint.
Yeah.
जिस राह पे आप जा रहे हो उसमें मार्गदर्शक ही नहीं है तो राह तो गलत भी हो सकता है.
Hey everyone, and welcome back again to MetaApply's ABC podcast, Abroad and Beyond Campus, where we decode the world of international education one story at a time. Today's episode is all about the shift that's quietly happening in the background of every admission season. Why are students starting to look beyond the Big Four, beyond the US, the UK, Canada, and Australia? For years, these were the go-to names in every study abroad dream. But that's changing. Students are now doing their homework. They're looking for a better ROI, friendlier visa policies, and unique campus experiences. So, why are more students heading to places like Germany, Netherlands, Ireland, and the UAE? And how are universities responding to this shift? To break this down, I'm joined by someone who sees these shifts from inside out and looks after the university partnerships at MetaApply IE. He works closely with the global institutions to help navigate markets, build presence, and understand what students really want. Suyash, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Saurabh. I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for the invite. And I would love to talk about something that I deal everyday basis, which is the ever evolving global education map.
Lovely. So, Suyash, let's dive in and let's get real. The Big Four used to be a default choice, but kuch to badla hai. From what you are seeing, what do you think that students are changing their paths?
So we're starting with the real deep questions here. So I think it all started with a decline in the trust the student has in these Big Four locations. And going deep into the subject, it's more about the visa part because that's the most essential part. Where the student goes into a country, they need to have a particular visa. Everybody knows about it. Post-COVID, when the gates opened and the students were able to apply to different countries, there was a spike in the application of students in the countries like UK, US, Australia, and everybody wanted to go in these destinations. But what happened is, जितना ज़्यादा supply बढ़ता जाएगा, उतनी demand भी बढ़ती है. That's all goes and ways. But since the floodgates open, there was a decrease in the supply and demand scenario. Students were applying in large amount, but there was less seats.
Right.
So this is where the actual cause lies. There's a decline in the visas. Now, since there was a shift in the demand and supply, eventually institutions were overloaded with the applications. So they had less resources, less amount of time, and so many students to cater to. So that's where rejection of applications started as well. Now, we are seeing in the news, there is a steady decline in the US visas. Earlier, it was Canada. And similarly, I am expecting new destinations, which are the Big Four, to see the same trajectory in the coming years because there's a huge amount of student applying there. Now, the real question comes in, if a student is spending in X amount of money, he expects an ROI.
True.
And if there are large amount of students expecting the same thing from a country, the chances of getting a fixed ROI is less.
Right.
And there is a steady change in policies as well. We saw this happening in Canada PR
Yeah,
policies. Then we saw in UK post-study visas policies. Now we're seeing it in the US. So this all is related to the part that there are a lot of students in these countries. So hence students are trying to see and explore other countries as well. And to add to it, cost of living. Cities like Toronto, Sydney, Birmingham, London, you check the rent over there, it's gonna burn a hole in your pocket.
So it's more about students have just moved on from let's go abroad to let's go somewhere where it makes sense to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So Suyash, let's get very specific. Which countries are or which destinations are rising very fast? And वो क्या ऐसा ऑफर कर रहे हैं जो the big four aren't?
So as I was talking previously about the post-COVID situations, तो जैसे कोविड खत्म हुआ, we saw the rise in application and student को realize हो गया कि these are the countries or these big fours are filled right now. So I would talk about destination that emerged after the COVID happened. So the destinations like Germany came into the picture, where the education is free. The tuition free for public universities is quite affordable, and to be honest, it's free. Technically speaking, if you have the German language qualification, the job market is very solid because you get access to the Schengen countries, because it as a Europe as a destination, and it offers a lot of STEM courses,
अच्छा.
which is quite trending in India particularly. Yeah. Second country in Europe as a continent I would talk about is Netherlands, which is has been picking up since 2024. It offers around 2,000 plus English taught programs, and they have a very sturdy and a structured visa process. And as obviously jobs are picking up over there because less students are over there. And the third location is Ireland, which is quite good when it comes to research and pharmaceutical courses, and it has a sturdy PR and visa policies, and the job market is relatively good as compared to other countries. And the fourth destination that I really love is the UAE, which has been in the market for quite long, but it has recently picked up in the last year, because UAE offers affordable tuition fees. Student has less chances of getting a visa rejected because the visa policies are quite compliant. And best part is it offers a diverse platform to the student, because there are over 200 plus nationalities in UAE which can help them develop personally as well as professionally. So these four destinations that I talked about, they have already emerged post COVID, but the one that have recently entered into the higher education or study abroad landscape are Poland, New Zealand, Sweden and Albania.
अच्छा.
Yeah, because all in all, they offer cheap and affordable tuition fee as compared to the previous fours that I discussed, and they are very student friendly because let's be honest, as they are emerging, there are no students over there, particularly Indian student. When we're talking about the job market is good, and they are very friendly and accepting towards Indian population, and they want the Indian talent and the mindset that the student has over here. तो ये जो चार जो emerge हुई हैं अभी, we have seen a lot of rise in that, and we particularly as MetaApply have been interested to partner universities in these regions because it offers a lot of scholarship opportunities as well to the students.
Wow. So हर किसी का एक unique advantage है.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's actually very surprising hearing Sweden and Albania from you.
Yeah. They've been very supportive towards Indian policies and Indian student as well, and we have good bilateral relationship with them as well. So I see a lot of potential in the coming years in these particular four destinations.
Great. Well, that was a very valuable insight. थोड़ा और deep चलते हैं. Let's go inside a student's mind. What is actually happens inside a student's mind जो अभी तक change नहीं देख पा रहे थे हम लोग, या the students who were thinking not to do something. What has actually changed?
So I think there has been a major shift in the student of tier 2 and tier 3 cities. We'll not talk about tier 1 student because उनके पास इतनी research और वो funding, everything they have. But now as I said, the trend is shifting. Tier 2 और tier 3 का student भी काफी well researched हो रहा है. वो ये देख रहा है कि is there a relevancy with my previous education or not, if he is going for a master's program or bachelor's. They have to make sure there is relevancy because it makes their portfolio strong. So because of this, there is a shift from the question of where can I go to what's right for me. मेरे लिए क्या सही है, क्योंकि मेरे को ROI देखना है. I have to see if I land a job after my degree, So these are very necessary things that students are considering. So इससे क्या होता है, whenever they consider all these pointers, it leads to consistency in their life. They get stability over there. And culture is very important, and I do realize the culture over there in the big four countries are good, but I think when it comes to a newer destination, being in a new place, you kind of like be the first, you see it firsthand from your own experience.
Could be these countries are more accepting as well.
Yeah, very friendly. As I said previously as well, बहुत ही friendly होते हैं Indians का. They know what Indian mindset is. They want to learn the culture as well. They've been because obviously social media is picking up, Bollywood movies are picking up. They as जैसे हमें अपना culture अपना पसंद है, उनको अपना culture पसंद है, but we both want to experience both our cultures.
Right.
तो वही experience करने के लिए they have opened this gate, and I think it's a strategic let's say move as well from these country where they are seeing कि यार big four में they are seeing a downfall.
Right,
Why not like open the gates for the country when there is a rise in demand as well?
Right. I think I've seen that too. These kids nowadays, these students nowadays they're very strategic.
Yeah.
उन्हें value driven होना ज़्यादा पसंद है.
Culture driven, value driven. ROI तो हमेशा top most priority रही है किसी के भी, because most of the students that are going there are from the middle class, proper middle class. So since it's a middle class, they have to see कि कितना spend हो रहा है, वो कितना मिल रहा है. I don't think this is something they can avoid anymore. आप बिग फोर में जा रहे हो, आपको पता है आपके चांसेस कम हैं ROI पाने के. ROI is always gonna be there, but it's not the chances of getting ROI. This is what we are talking about.
Right.
वो बढ़ जाता है आपका जब when you go for other destinations.
वो prestige वाला नहीं रह गया. अब it's more about the ROI.
Yeah, it's more about relevancy. Rankings का जमाना गया, I think. Universities अब ranking से नहीं देखी जाती है. It's more about what they offer inside the campus.
Right.
The culture they are, the support system they have, student services,
communities.
Yeah. Right. उनको extra क्या मिल रहा है, उनकी profile development में क्या हो रहा है. Particularly university have been, from my point of view, what I have been talking to them, वो लोग इस part में ज़्यादा focus कर रहे हैं कि बच्चे को हम job मिलने से पहले हम क्या-क्या करवा सकते हैं, so that we guarantee that ROI. And specifically, though big four countries has already adapted this, but this particular segment that we're talking about, ये जो नई emerging destinations है वो ज़्यादा rapidly इसको enhance कर रही है अपने लिए और ज़्यादा student centric बना रही है इस experience को.
Great. And what about the universities that you mentioned? Like, are they still catching up? Yeah, they are able to adapt to these new expectations that the students have.
Post-COVID was a learning for everybody.
True.
Not just students, not just parents, as well as universities. So they had to put in a system where they had the capability of catering to every single applicant that they are receiving. Now, based on my conversation with the universities from the emerging destination, they are very focused on the demographics of the student.
अच्छा.
यार मैं कहाँ से बच्चे, किधर से बच्चे, I'm recruiting. And as an aggregator in the market, they talk to us saying, we are interested in this segment of India. Not just whole India. I want to have a very deeper and a strategic entry into the Indian subcontinent. So earlier what used to happen, UK, US, ऐसे destination में सब जा रहे हैं. तो there was a division कि साउथ के बच्चे US की तरफ more inclined होते थे, कनाडा और यूके के लिए पंजाब हरियाणा,
right.
नॉर्थ के बच्चे they used to go Australia, पंजाब then again Australia. Punjab was mostly in UK, Canada and Australia. US was something south centric, but that's changing. Universities now know कि okay, I'm getting a passive flow of application from these destinations, but there is a lot of untapped region जहाँ पे they want recruitment from. That's why they want that demographic shift. And in order to help the universities penetrate these tier 2, tier 3 cities, we have suggested them, and I am sure there are universities who have already adapted this, that they are making flexible payment methods, visa support system, less English requirements, so that tier 2 to tier 3 cities have literally, I would say, comparatively, they have less English scores as compared to tier 1 because they have good schooling and all. But tier 2 students and tier 3 students are picking up, but they have not been able to reach at that par. So that's why they need that flexibility. And universities do understand that because they are not just seeing the language proficiency, they are seeing the bigger picture.
Right.
What does the student want? Does he wants to stay in our country or come back? Which is the most important question which is asked to a student in a visa interview. Do you want to come back?
Right.
So such kind of insights are being shared by university to us, and it's a give and take. We are
Right.
sharing this information to them as well. And while they are concentrated in the most populous region where they get application from, they are very much interested and want our assistance in order to explore those regions as well.
Right. तो स्टूडेंट के इंटेंट पे ज्यादा वो हो रहा है, फोकस हो रहा है.
Yes.
Right.
What does he want from
Right.
their country and why not? Because this is the question that they themselves ask. कि आपके पास option है 4 बड़ी country में जाने का, why our country? And student have to be very quick with their response, and they have to be very well researched as well कि हम क्यों जा रहे हैं. And they have to state it, because I will get more opportunity in your country rather than going where all the students are. I want to experience your culture. I think they should state these things as a reason why they want to go into these unexplored countries.
Great. So, what is the most honest advice that you can give to the students who's actually confused between these traditional destinations and the one that are actually rising right now?
I would suggest don't follow trend. Chase fit. By fit, I mean align your goals, align your academic profile, see the visa pathway of that particular country, see the course, whether it's relevant to your profile or not, and the most important part again, job outcome and the ROI. Does the industry or that country aligns to your goal or not? Third and the biggest point, go to a study abroad counselor just like MetaApply. And I'm not marketing it, I'm saying it for a reason, because there are things where you need guidance in, because it's an unexplored territory.
Right.
And I know why students are not doing that and they are relying on themselves, because there's a stigma in the market where हम जैसे career counselors and study abroad experts को बोला जाता है that we are pitching the universities where we're getting most commission in. But that's not the thing. हम actual में career guidance, portfolio relevancy, whether the student will be a good fit in that direction, in that particular country or in that particular course or in that particular university, ये सब चीजें देख रहे हैं. हमारे counselors को पता है it's not about selling, it's about guiding.
Right.
That shift is as well as coming, because they know eventually एक counselor इतनी मेहनत करके एक student की application apply कर रहा है university ने, if it get rejected, what's the point?
True.
They have to make sure कि वो पहले ही quality check और उसमें ही relevant हो ताकि बच्चे को offer आए. So these are the stuff that the students need to understand, that they require those guidance and they cannot just go in raw. They need to understand that a proper guidance is necessary, because आप अपने पेरेंट्स से गाइडेंस लेते हो, आप अपने रिलेटिव से गाइडेंस लेते हो, व्हाई नॉट टेक इट फ्रॉम एन एक्सपर्ट?
Right. Yeah.
जिस राह पे आप जा रहे हो उसमें मार्गदर्शक ही नहीं है, तो राह तो गलत भी हो सकता है.
Well said. Fit over FOMO. Yeah. So that should actually make a good t-shirt slogan.
yeah. True. And I think इसमें what our partners, university partners are helping us in, कि if they don't believe our counselors and they think कि यार ये efficient नहीं है, ये this is not enough, I want more, हम access दे रहे हैं आपको यूनिवर्सिटी के representative, official representative से मिल के बैठ के आराम से one on one counseling करने का.
अच्छा.
Get to know more about the university, ask the hard questions, ask the difficult question, be vulnerable, be open about what you want. And I think वो accessibility अगर student खुद से apply करता है market में आके, वो मिलता
शायद
नहीं.
ना मिले.
It takes time. They will eventually get it because university do provide that directly. But हमारे through it makes it more accessible, more faster, and because all the services are free, so it's cheaper.
Nice. So Yash, that brings us to my favorite section of this podcast, और वो है myth busting round.
Okay.
बहुत सारे myth हैं ऐसे जो student community में फैले हुए हैं, and we need to give the reality check to the students. So let me start with the myth number 1. That is, if it's not the US or UK, it's not worth it.
That's false, because there are countries which I talked about previously which offer a relatively less ROI, but the ROI is guaranteed. Countries like Germany, Ireland, Poland, Sweden, I can name a lot of them now.
Great. Myth number 2, only Ivy League or QS top 100 matters.
No, that's false. Relevancy is more important than ranking. You shouldn't just go for the cover picture. You should read the book inside. Yeah. So you should see the relevancy. It's very important.
Great. Myth number 3, affordable means low quality.
That's not true. Affordable means it's pocket friendly, to be honest. The word itself means pocket friendly. And I think the countries which offer low rents doesn't mean that they offer low opportunity. There are countries like Poland and Albania which has cheaper rent options and student accommodation options, which is very pocket friendly. So that's not it. That's not right.
Okay, moving ahead. Myth number 4. If I get an admit, my visa is guaranteed.
No, that's not true. A student profile as per the course should align, should be relevant. Only then a university accepts your application. Because if it doesn't make sense why you're coming to their country to study the particular course, why would they?
Yeah, makes sense. Myth number 5. Studying abroad guarantees PR.
No, I think when the original study abroad landscape emerged, it was more about experiencing abroad, getting to know the industry over there, culture over there, learning things from over there, then coming back to your home country and implementing the same.
Right.
It shouldn't just be a way to get into a country.
Myth number 6. Everyone's going to Canada or Australia, so I should too.
No. As I said previously as well, don't chase trends, as well as see where you're fit, where your career goals and job opportunities that you're looking for are aligned in a particular country. आपको वहाँ जाना चाहिए.
Great. I hope someone's forwarding this to their family WhatsApp group right now. Suyash, thank you so much for joining us today. Your insights truly made sense.
Thank you for having me. It was really nice to have a one-on-one conversation and let student know कि university end में क्या thinking चल रही है and how well the university is prepared this time to cater to their requirements and their needs. And obviously, as I stated earlier as well, come to MetaApply, get the proper guidance, get the proper shortlisting, get all the support that is required in your study abroad journey, and we won't disappoint you.
Great. I loved how you gave it a personal touch as well and how you made it so simple for people to understand. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
And to everyone listening, if this episode gives you something to think about, don't just keep it to yourself. Follow the show, share it with a friend who's currently confused between destinations, or tell us in the comments which is your favorite study abroad destination and why. If you are serious about exploring these new and exciting destinations from Germany to Albania, from Sweden to New Zealand, visit MetaApply IE. We've got 100 plus partner universities and full support from start to finish. Until next time, choose smart, explore wide, and go beyond the big four. This is your host Saurabh signing off.